Welcome to the Racing Post Football Postcast. We're going to tackle Sunday's games. We've got Adrian Croak on the line from our friends at Paddy Power. And the 1:30 game, Adrian, is Burnley against the struggling Palace. How do Paddy Power price that one up?
So we've got this one up here at Burnley at 13-10. The draw is 21-10, and Palace are currently 9-4.
A pretty open affair on the betting. How do you see it, Adrian?
Yeah, Palace have been pretty poor lately. It's unsure kind of how they're feeling about Frank de Boer, their players, which will really affect what the price will do. Burnley is probably what I'd be looking at here at that 13-10.
He seems to be under the cosh, De Boer. Dan,
he is, yeah.
This is his final chance of the news coming from
Palace.
I
think this is going to be a horrible game. I think that there's talk that he's going to try and go a bit back to basics. Maybe switch to a back four with formation. They've got Sacco who's come in now. I mean, that should boost their defence quite substantially. So I think they're just going to be looking at really trying to get something out of the game and repelling what Burnley have to offer, which, to be honest, isn't a great deal. I mean, they're still a one-dimensional side. They've got lots of the same type of play. Up front they're choosing between Ashley Barnes, Sam Vokes, Chris Wood, all the same type of players. They're going to go direct. We know what they're going to do. Palace know what they're going to do. They just need to try and repel it. And I look at Burnley had a good start, but their home game against West Brom was an awful game. They lost it 1-0. West Brom did a job on them, really. It's just whether Palace can do the defensive side and and match Burnley physically. I think they'll put a performance in, and I think that it'll be a close game. A draw, 21-10 for me is the call.
Do you agree, Mark? Burnley obviously been heavily reliant on their home form in recent seasons.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I tend to not read too much into home form, because it's very difficult, I think, for teams to match it. So if they were great, they were overperforming to such high levels last season. I think it's almost impossible for Burnley to recreate that. And actually, their points this season have come away, and I think that's just how it goes. Interestingly, I thought though, the one game Burnley were expected to win was the one that they didn't win against West Brom. Had no shots on target that day. I was looking at Crystal Palace draw no bet. Burnley obviously had the help against Chelsea with the 2 red cards. Tottenham then nicked the draw very late on. And I don't know how much of the Wembley factor Tottenham, trying to get over the line in that game helped them out. Palace actually in the expected goals ratings have done much better against Huddersfield and Swansea than the final score suggests. I think they're being punished at the moment for just about every tiny error they're making. They only lost 1-0 at Liverpool. Not expecting a classic, like Dan says. Could be low scoring. I'm just inclined to go for Palace draw no bet. Maybe De Boer's got a bit of life left in him just yet.
If they were to get rolled over by Burnley, do you think he could get the bullet?
Well, I mean, if that's what the newspapers have been pretty strong on the fact that it could be. It's a crazy situation. You don't appoint Frank de Boer knowing what Frank de Boer...
He's only been there 5 minutes.
I mean, you know what football Frank de Boer wants to play, and you've appointed him, let him play it. I mean, you can't suddenly decide after 3 games you think you've got it wrong, unless there's somebody like Sam Allardyce lined up to come back.
Depends who's out there, isn't it? And I mean, the one thing I would say, he has got over the international break, which is often a big opportunity for teams to change managers. So the fact is, the other side of that, maybe that gives him a better chance of hanging in there a bit longer.
We've got the sack race betting, Adrian. I'm guessing he's near the head of the betting.
It was actually suspended during the international break due to the amount of money that came through on Frank de Boer. It seems to be a non-runner of a race at the moment. No, he's on borrowed time. I think he could even win this weekend, but if he's still there come the end of the next international break, we'd be pretty surprised.
There's a certain Croat as well that he's close to getting the bullet. We'll touch on that a little bit later on. Right, I'll stick with you, Adrian. Swansea versus Newcastle is the 4 o'clock kickoff. Give us a show then, please.
So the Swansea here are 11-8. The draw is 2-1, and Newcastle are 9-4 at the moment.
We'll come back to you, Adrian, for your thoughts. But Mark, Newcastle rolled over West Ham, but I'm still not convinced by them.
No, it was that very little possession in that game. I don't think it's going to be one of the worst Super Sundays of the season. We've already had Stoke v West Brom. I mean, they're getting their quota of the sort of smaller teams in early, aren't they? You've got to show so many teams.
Does it have to be shown on Sunday, though? I mean, we could have had the Man City-Liverpool game at 4,
well, no, they probably couldn't because of Champions League on Tuesday.
Course,
that's I'm going for the draw anyway in this game. I think Newcastle, with Rafa Benitez in charge, are always capable of sort of doing a job on teams. They were a little bit unlucky, I thought, to lose 1-0 at Huddersfield. There wasn't much in that game. Even against Tottenham on the opening day, they were well in it until Shelvey's red card. They didn't give up that many opportunities. And I think that what they'll do is they'll go to Swansea with the idea of not getting beat and see whether Swansea can open them up. And I'm not sure that Swansea will be able to. They're still, they've changed their really big players. Sigurdsson and Llorente have left the club in the summer transfer window. And I think that this is a team that will get better maybe as the season goes on. I mean, Boney's not up to speed yet, is he? I mean, he can't have had any kind of pre-season.
Might be off the bench maybe.
Yeah. So, I mean, I like Tammy Abraham. I mean, he was somebody that nearly went to Newcastle in the summer, apparently didn't because of the nightlife on Tyneside, and they felt it would be better for him to maybe be out of the way a little bit. So interested to see how he gets on. Marino, of the one that they got from Dortmund at Newcastle, is a really good player. I think both these teams will stay up, and I think it'll be a point each.
Interesting. His numbers and stats, Sigurdsson, for Swansea were phenomenal. He's surely going to be a big miss for them.
Well, his assists were, actually his expected assists weren't. So I think if you went into the data, he was actually overperforming by quite some, actually. They were sort of scoring from more than the chances he was actually creating now. I mean, that's pretty deep sort of analytical stuff. I don't know, I don't know if Everton have done sort of all that homework or just looked at the assists.
50-odd million, 45 million suggests not probably, Mark.
I think he's overpriced. I know he's got a wonder goal the other week for Everton, got a couple for Iceland. So, I mean, he's a loss for Swansea. I mean, because they've then had to go and spend a lot of money on like Klukas and whatever to replace him. So, I think that it will take a little bit of time for them to find a new way of playing because those were two very important players for them last season.
How do you see it, Dan? Sell it to me. I want to put up and watch this one.
I fancy Swansea in this one. I mean, they played without Sigurdsson at Palace. I know Palace are struggling, but they won the game nicely 2-0. Klukas come in, made his debut in that game. Tammy Abraham got off the mark in that match as well, so he'll be nice and confident. I just think they've got a little bit more. They've got Wilfred Bonny to maybe come off the bench. I think they've got more up front than Newcastle have. Newcastle against West Ham, looking at that, they just seem to outwork West Ham in that game. I'm not sure how much of it was fantastic quality on Newcastle's part. I still think they're quite an ordinary side, well-organised side with Rafa Benitez in charge, but I think Swansea look the better of the two teams, and given that view, 11-8 at home, I think is a little bit too big.
Dan Childs, the Racing Post. 11-8 about Swansea is too big. Right, that wraps up Sunday's action. We'll have a look at Monday and a little bit of Champions League as well.
Check out Paddy's new VIPP Club. Get a £10 free bet every week when you place 5 bets of £10 or more. Max £10 bonus per person per week. Excludes shops. Selected odds. Conditions and exclusions apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.
Hi there. Welcome to the Racing Post Football Postcast. We're going to look at Monday night football. West Ham are hosting Huddersfield, and Adrian Croak is on the line from our friends at Paddy Power. Adrian, give us a show then for this, what could be a massive game at the bottom of the table.
Yeah, so we have West Ham here at 5-6, the draw is 5-2, and Huddersfield are currently 10-3.
Dan, as a West Ham fan, if we get turned over here, it could be curtains already.
I mean, you're saying bottom of the table for one team,
yeah,
Dave.
For one team, yeah. Huddersfield are high-flying.
Yeah, high-flying Huddersfield.
Question is, are you at the stage yet where you want to get turned over so that Bilic goes, or do you want to win so he stays? That's always the difficult one for supporters, isn't it?
Well, I'll have my say very quickly that I just think he's a bit clueless, Bilic, if I'm honest, and I think we're in trouble.
If they win, he's going to stay on for a while, and I think they will win, actually. Lanzini's a big player for West Ham. I thought they sparked a little bit when he came on at Newcastle for a while. They had a 10-15 minute spell where they looked like they were going to get back into the game. He's such a big player for West Ham. He'll be ready to start, I would imagine.
Well, I hope so. Was he withdrawn from the Argentina squad?
Withdrawn from the Argentina squad, yeah. But right. I mean, you're never quite sure with them, are you? Whether it's to protect himself from and to make him sure available. We just, I suppose.
Well, he's. I mean, I would maybe then wait on his fitness on Lanz, because he's such a big player for them. I mean, if he starts, I would say that. I mean, the service then into Hernandez is going to be a lot better. You've got Antonio, who started the season a bit slowly. He's going to be getting more to the level that he needs now, fitness wise. I just feel that they might have a little bit too much here for Huddersfield. The start will be crucial. The crowd, I mean, if they start badly, it's are going to be on their backs. But I just feel if they get in front, on the flip side of that, Huddersfield may struggle then to come back into the game. They're a team that got their way of playing. They like to press high and play the football. In the Championship last season, when you always felt when they went behind and they had to try and change that was when they sometimes struggled to get back into the game with Huddersfield. I just think that West Ham, if they get the leads, they have got more quality in the side than Huddersfield, and they might go on to win.
Good man, Dan. Good man. Mark, let's talk Huddersfield then, because started well. They've sort of climatised well to the Premier League.
Yeah, in the Premier League, no goals conceded. They have. I mean, you could, with hindsight, and I suppose a bit of after timing, Crystal Palace, given all their changes, what they were trying to do was the absolute plum first game, really, wasn't it? Because Palace weren't ready for it. Huddersfield were absolutely ready, and just caught them completely. In the second game, I've already mentioned against Newcastle. I mean, that was a really tight game where Moy scored a great goal, but it could have gone the other way, or finished 0-0. The Southampton game did finish 0-0. Looked like I didn't see it, but according to the stats, they had the majority of that game, but were unable to find the goal. And I think that is going to be the problem for them as the season goes on. Teams will become a little bit more wise to what they're trying to do. And for all that West Ham have been hopeless this season, the first game at Old Trafford probably would have lost anyway. The second one, they've had Arnautovic sent off at Southampton. Actually, still come
right
back
Southampton
in.
a bit of a fright.
Played all right. And then they put in a real stinker at Newcastle. Not helped by the fact they've had to play 3 away games on the spin. I was looking at Javier Hernandez any time, actually 7-5 with Paddy Power. If West Ham score, it's almost certainly going to come from the Mexican. I would have thought. He's already looked pretty lively at Old Trafford when he was given the service, which wasn't that often. Then he got the couple of goals at Southampton. I just thought that if West Ham win, he's the man that's going to score the goals, and he's sort of quite attractively priced. I thought 7-5 any time.
What's against? What price are you to open the scoring, Adrian?
Chicharito is 7-2 at the moment, open the scoring.
Have you got the big man Andy Carroll in the betting? He's
Andy Carroll
to be on the bench.
4-1 as well.
Come on, second half. Right, enough of that.
What about Adrian's?
Sorry, Adrian. That's twice now. What do we think? Dan's given West Ham a big mention at 11-8. How about yourself?
Yeah, I think West Ham are probably the bet here. Their price is probably a little bit affected through the 3 losses on the trot, but they've been away from home. But I kind of am in agreement with you. And I'm not sure Bilic is really a great manager. And if West Ham fans might prefer he's gone, I mean, he hasn't done well at any club he's really managed, has he?
As a layer at Paddy Power, how have your perception as Huddersfield changed? You've been surprised by them, how they've started in the Premier League?
Yeah, I'm pretty certain Huddersfield are at the moment our worst winner in the outright book. So we're hoping they don't do a Leicester on it. But they've we still see a fair bit of them for relegation at the moment. They probably overperformed their first few games, but may have been slightly underestimated coming into the start of the season.
And what price are they to be relegated? Dare I say it?
To be relegated at the moment, Huddersfield are 9-4. Sorry, not 9-4, 7-4.
And what price are West Ham?
West Ham are actually 4-1.